Hey y'all, Uncle Jimmy here. When you speak for yourself, you're forced to think for yourself. And when you think for yourself, the sports world looks different. In order to enjoy this podcast and this show, you need to have the courage to look at the world from alternative points of view and not be offended when you disagree. Speak for yourself isn't your Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram feed. SFY tells you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. So, welcome aboard, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
All right, yesterday, I compared the Houston Texans quarterback, Deshaun Watson, to Batman Dark Knight Rises. I wondered whether Watson could recover from a Bane-like whooping the Baltimore Ravens put on him. We got our answer last night when the Texans beat the Colts 20-17, thanks to Watson's 298 passing yards, 2 long TD throws to his trusty Robin, DeAndre Hopkins. What I left out of my Batman-Watson analogy was the role of Alfred Pennyworth, Batman's butler. Alfred is damn near as important as Batman. And last night, NFL Vice President of Officiating Al Riveron played the role of Alfred. With a minute left in the game and the Colts possessing 1 timeout, Watson appeared to fumble the football, and Colts linebacker Darius Leonard grabbed control of the ball. In the last 2 minutes of the game, all reviews are handled by Riveron and his crew in New York. A coach can't challenge. For some reason, Riveron declined to review Watson's fumble, which effectively ended the game in Houston's favor. Batman was saved by Riveron. And once again, the NFL's replay system deserves criticism and scrutiny. The NFL has made a mess here. The fact that football fans know the name Al Riveron, but no one could identify him in a police lineup is problematic. The fact that every weekend we spend way too much time talking about the refs, replays, and pass interference is problematic. The old guys in stripes are as big as stars as the young guys making plays on the football field. The replay system is far more of an annoyance than it is a benefit to the game. Based on the way pass interference replay has been operated during the regular season this year, does anyone really believe they would have overturned the alleged pass interference in last season's NFC Championship? The NFL needs to overhaul the replay system this offseason. It's hurting the game. All right, joining the desk now are Fox Sports NFL analysts Eric Dickerson and TJ Houshmandzadeh. Marcellus, I'll start with you.
Yes, sir.
Does replay need to be overhauled?
Absolutely yes. The problem is, what are you going to do? We all know perfect is the enemy of good, and this is a good system, but it's not perfect, so therefore there are some things that are left to be desired. The biggest problem with our system currently is they're trying to overlap human error with more human error, but just in a slower process. Because everyone thinks that when you take something from the field to instant replay, there should be some objective measure or at least some distance between what we see and what is actually being corrected. But what's happening, and what we saw last night as an egregious case of it, is our eyes told us one thing, and the NFL and the instant replay system told us something completely different. So until we have a overview of this system, which basically means if you're going to take it from the refs, you can't have obstructions. You can't have boundaries. You can't say, oh, well, within 2 minutes, coaches, you can't challenge. You have to have the complete umbrella, the complete opportunity to review all and objectively somehow measure this so we can get something different than these results.
Overhaul? No, not at all. When you use the word overhaul, that's just do away with what we have and start completely over.
Yeah, scrap the whole thing.
I don't believe you need to overhaul. You need to make some adjustments to it for sure. The pass interference review, do away with that. Did he fumble yesterday? 100% he fumbled. But it looked like to me he recovered it as well. Darius Leonard, you ain't recovering no fumble with your left arm by your side and the ball here. That ball's getting taken away under the pile. Somebody else has that ball if you have it. His left arm is not even on the ball. That's number one. So they do need to make adjustments. There's some calls where you're like, if we see that they're making a bad call, and this is Al Riveron specifically, that's a problem. Like, the viewing fans can see, like, what is he talking about? That's a problem. So that adjustment needs to be made, but overhaul, no.
I agree. Adjustment, yes. Overhaul, no. It was, first of all, if they'd have got the ball, if Houston would, if Indianapolis got the ball, it's not like that was a guaranteed touchdown.
Timeout, 50 seconds left. All they need is a field goal to take it over the 35-yard line.
Is it guaranteed?
No. go.
Nothing's guaranteed.
There we go. It ain't no guarantee. That's to say, it's no guarantees in this league. But, and I agree with you, TJ.
But who came? Deshaun Watson came out the pile with that ball.
That's what I'm saying.
He didn't come out the pile with the ball.
The fumble, you couldn't. He looked like he still had the ball. Many times as a running back, the ball gets away and you get it back. So I thought it was a good call.
But what you're saying is you don't do the right thing because you're not guaranteeing the results of doing the right thing.
No.
We have to go process by process, step by step. Let's crawl before we walk. Why we need an overhaul? Because you guys want to edit 10 different things. Guess what that is? An overhaul. We need to look at this and say, what is the core of this instant replay system that works?
It's certain
It's not the pass interference. It's not blown whistles on recoveries. It's not what we saw last night. It's not reviewing who has possession. I just listed 4, and that's just in one game. So we have to start talking about that is an overhaul. It is much more dramatic than you guys are leading on to.
I disagree. I mean, when I think about the so-called fumble, the fumble, you couldn't say definitively.
Oh, he fumbled.
Eric.
Wait, hold it. I agree.
You said so-called.
Definitively that the Colts recovered.
That's what I'm trying to say, that they
But it's still a
recovered it.
fumble.
Eric, you still hate the Colts.
No,
Is that
no,
any
no.
part of your deal?
They owe you money.
No, I call it like I see it. No,
Okay.
the
All right, I'm
ball
just
got
checking.
away from him, but it's no way that you say Deshaun did not have the ball.
No. When they came up from that pile,
Who had the ball?
Deshaun Watson handed that
There
ball
we
to
go.
the ref. And so
Yeah, Darius gave it to him on the way up.
Whether,
Like, here you go.
whether he fumbled or not, that's not a question. It 100% was a
100.
fumble.
Right.
But the Texans recovered that ball. And you just go to the prior week. Marlon Humphrey clearly pass interfered DeAndre Hopkins in the end zone in the first quarter in a 0-0 game. So that can change the whole complexion of the game. We're talking Houston playing Baltimore Ravens.
You're making our point.
That part needs to be adjusted.
Another one.
But I agree with that part needs to be adjusted.
Yeah.
But an overhaul, if they overhaul this replay system, it's going to get ugly. You're going to say we need an overhaul.
It's already ugly.
Yeah,
We're already talking about Al Riveron.
Over this
way
call,
too much.
Al Riveron has been awful all year. Let's just say that. That passing, he's been awful because of the pass
That's
interference.
why we need an overhaul.
They need to figure that out.
Well, Jason, let me ask you a question. What would you consider an overhaul?
Scrapping
So
virtually
take
all of it.
Take all of it.
It doesn't help.
So no instant replay?
Ooh, I don't like that either.
I don't like that. You got to have instant replay.
No, I don't.
So no
football had no instant replay when you played.
I agree. I wish we did have it.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
But
Yeah, I
the
bet.
technology
Yes.
and as many cameras as you have, and so they can slow things down to where you're like, oh, that was a catch.
I'm gonna tell
that
you-
wasn't a catch.
Here's-
Oh, that's a fumble.
Here's the overhaul I would like, and then we got to move on to talk about the real players. I think there should be 2 officials working from the booth, working from cameras, 2 officials, 2 referees. I think we need to use this technology and let the officials use. I think there should be ISO cameras on virtually all the skilled players.
I like that adjustment.
And so that's an overhaul. And so they can really get some of these calls right and take it out of the hands of these guys on the field that are running around, can't keep pace with these guys, trying to dodge, getting hit, blah, blah, blah. Let's officiate more from the booth than from on the field. And to me, that's what I think.
One more edit, though. It can never be 2. Any group setting, it has to be an odd number. Because they're going to be sitting up there like, it's PI. No, it's not. Then what are we going to do? So you can't multiply human error, which we're doing right now.
All right, let's move on to were we impressed last night with Deshaun Watson and the Texans?
Yes, because I'm getting ahead of myself. Like I think maybe some of the mentality of the discussion, the narrative around Deshaun Watson is getting ahead of itself. So, yes, I'm impressed by Deshaun Watson. You beat a divisional opponent that had beaten you 4 out of the last 5 times. You went out there and had an impressive performance, impressive numbers. But why there's some trepidation, a little hesitance in my voice is because I keep thinking of the MVP conversation, which we'll get to later. But this was impressive because you handled business, but not necessarily to the level of Deshaun Watson, but adequate enough to get the W.
I was impressed because if we recall yesterday, I think I was the only one on here that picked the Texans to win the game.
Okay.
But
Did you thank Al Riveron for that? But go ahead.
it's what you said. When you win a divisional game, very important. You lose that, in essence, the way these teams are playing now, you're out of the playoff hunt. And it goes back to what you said. they won the game, but it's not like they won the game and they feel really good about, oh, man, we ready to roll these last 4 or 5 games of the season. They have a lot of work to do. I'm impressed with them because it's a division game. DeAndre Hopkins got off. He scored 2 touchdowns. Will Fuller had a great game. From that third down, they were fantastic. But effectively running the ball, no. And to win in the playoffs with that way that offensive line is, they're going to be able to have to run the ball to slow the opposing team's defensive line down.
I'm like everybody else. Yes, but no. You know, the only thing that really impresses me is Deshaun Watson. I mean, he's just such an impressive player. The way he can actually get out of trouble. I mean, it's very few, in the NFL, that's quite a few, but it's very few quarterbacks can do what he does and throw with just such accuracy, because one time he stepped up, he stepped back, he stepped to his right, and he threw. I'm like, man, I mean, it's so impressive to watch him, but as I look at the Houston Texans, they're just not a good football team. If you take him away, that team is a bad, bad football team.
I'm with you all. Yeah, I got 298 yards, threw some dimes downfield. Deshaun Watson, impressed. The reason why I'm not overly impressed, though, is I thought Frank Wright and these guys put a leash on Jacoby Brissett that I thought was inappropriate. I thought their running game, Indianapolis running game, was effective, and I didn't mind them. But to me, they wouldn't let Jacoby loose until 3rd and long.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? I mean, because Ty Hilton was blowing the game. Jacoby Brissett was playing well, throwing dimes. I just felt like Indianapolis was very conservative with Jacoby Brissett, kept him in the game, and I get it, stick with the running game, but there was just a little 10%, 15% more I wish Indianapolis had let loose of Jacoby Brissett. And I think that, along with Al Riveron, cost the Colts the game.
To that point, the Colts too conservative, but let's be real. The Texans, they look limited. You guys ever feel bad in a win? I know it was a few times at Buffalo. You go out and everybody pumped, y'all won. You're like,
we got lucky.
Yeah, we got
lucky, or this is going to come to an end fast. Think about it. I still see a team sandwiched between that Baltimore game, where Baltimore took a chunk of flesh out of them, said, you know what y'all are? Not good enough. And then next week, they get to see the Patriots, which could take another chunk of flesh out of you. So as a collective, it just seems like they've come to an understanding that we have limitations. What does that usually mean? You're a tough out in the first round, whatever that may be. If you make the playoffs, we'll see how that race shapes out. But this just looks like a team that, when it comes to the long game, they're not going to be there.
It's like this. What happened was Frank Wright watched that Baltimore Ravens game and said, oh, man, they had a hard time stopping this run. You're not the Baltimore Ravens, Frank Wright, in your offense. And so that's why they had that leash on Jacoby Brissett. And then T.Y. Hilton, he admitted it. He dropped some balls that he normally catches, but he's missed some weeks. He's not really playing a lot. And so that's what happens. These other coaches, they start, well, oh, man, they couldn't stop this power play. Oh, man, they couldn't stop the stretch play. You ain't got that offensive line. You ain't got those running backs. And more importantly, you don't have Lamar Jackson in the backfield. That helps that.
Right.
And so that's what happens is they had that leash on Jacoby thinking, oh, we have this same type of run game that the Baltimore Ravens unleashed on the Houston Texans, and they don't.
I look at Indianapolis coaches still looking over their shoulder and thinking, is Andrew Luck coming in the game anytime? Is he coming in?
No, stop.
I'm telling you.
You're right, E.D. They would have called a different game.
They'd have called a different game. It's almost like, man, if we had Andrew, the Colts, they're a good football team, but without Andrew Luck, they just.
Whoa. Hold on. I
With
disagree. In terms of, I'm not saying that Jacoby Brissett is Andrew Luck.
No.
But Jacoby Brissett, to me, is a quarterback you should be leaning into. He's ascending.
I agree with that, but I still feel like they still look. I know, like, man, if we had Andrew Luck here, we would do things a little bit different. Maybe I'm wrong. I just feel like that's how they're looking at it.
They trust him more than they trust Jacoby.
That's it.
Game out.
Which is, to me,
and you don't.
What I've seen from Jacoby, they should have some trust in him. But let the man die on the field. Don't make him play with one arm tied behind his back. Eric Dickerson and TJ Houshmandzadeh are back. Time now for a big story. Let's move to Dallas, where Dak Prescott is putting up the biggest numbers of his career, leading the NFL in passing and worming his way into the MVP conversation.
Man, here you go.
That so far has been dominated by more legitimate candidates like Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson. Yesterday, Dak dismissed the MVP talk altogether, saying, quote, one, it's crazy early, right? And two, I mean, as I've talked about, it's wins. The only thing I care about is wins. So if that means I'm the most winningest quarterback in the league, sure, I'll want it. But until it means that, I don't care. We've had this conversation. It keeps coming up. I heard people this week, every time I turn on the internet, somebody has Dak in the MVP conversation. And I feel like I'm living in an alternate universe. But should Dak be in the MVP conversation is the question. Go ahead, Marcellus.
Absolutely. Look at you rolling your eyes, shaking your head. You could do that to me. You could probably do this to this panel. But I'm going to look at the betting odds of one Fox bet. You're going to do that to that check. You're going to do that to that boss. You're going to do that to him. He is third right now in the MVP voting based on Fox bet. And for me, he's third as well. Let's be real. Lamar Jackson is winning this award right now. Russell Wilson is on his heels. And then there's a quarterback that is leading the league in passing yards and also is second in passing touchdowns by the name of Dak Prescott. More impressive than all of that is on a division-leading team, a winning team that is actually doing better than it did last year. And largely it's because of this guy. The defense has largely disappointed this year, and Ezekiel has had his moments of disappointment. But who's been consistent? Who's been the one playing their best football in their contract year? Third in MVP voting, Dak Prescott.
Oh, 100% he should be in the conversation. He's not going to win it, but we got to understand.
Wait a minute, why not?
He's not.
There's games
unless Lamar Jackson falls on his face, he's not going to win it. But in the conversation, 100%.
There you go.
Two things. He's been the constant in this entire Dallas Cowboy team. He's been the one that you can count on week in and week out. And in years past, it was, Dak can't even throw for 300 yards. How many 400-yard games has Dak Prescott had? Now he's giving it to you, and now we're going to get a credit to somebody else. It's never Dak. So he jumps over one hurdle, we're going to give him another hurdle. He jumps over that hurdle, we're going to give him another hurdle. He's been the constant in this team. That's number one. Number two, he's playing for the Cowboys. What Marcellus said, they have a better record than they have last year.
Yep.
They're leading the division. He can really insert himself into the conversation if they beat the Patriots this weekend. So in the conversation, no question.
I just like Lamar Jackson is at the top. I just like, I like that because I said that. I said it last year. I've been talking about it.
See you on Monday.
Thank you. You know, one thing is you're right. You know, Dak has played very good football, for the Dallas Cowboys. And he's a Cowboy. Keep that in mind also. Still, without Ezekiel Elliott, he helps him tremendously. But, you know, when I look at Dak, who have they really played? That's what it comes down to. Who don't get me wrong. It's the NFL, and but he's earned it. I'll say that I like Dak when he came out of college. Well, first time I saw Dak play, he played the Rams in a preseason game. I'm like, man, I like the way this boy throw the football. He can, I give him his credit. But you always have to go back and look at who have you played. It's like looking at the New England Patriots conference. They're a great football team, but they are still in the weakest conference in the National Football League.
But they are the Super Bowl champions also.
But I say that too.
So it doesn't matter who you play.
But I did say that great football team.
Can I interrupt the Dak Love Fest and just ask a few questions? Has Dak outplayed Jimmy Garoppolo?
Overall?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I would take Dak.
I'll take Dak this year.
I didn't say he's outplayed Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah. Where are you going with this?
Well, I'm just
What you talking about?
He's out.
Yes.
I would say yes.
I would say yes.
I don't think so, but I'll let y'all have that one.
You digress.
You got some numbers to go with?
Let me ask this.
I'm about to say.
Some numbers to go?
One guy's 9-1, and another guy's 6-4.
Better rating, more yards, more touchdowns. But getting outperformed.
Okay.
You're right.
Let me ask another question.
I hear you.
Has Dak outperformed Christian McCaffrey, who's on pace to set an NFL record
That's
lines
different.
from scrimmage?
I would say no.
I would.
But Christian McCaffrey's
I give you
team
that.
is
That's
awful.
right.
What?
His team is off.
He's 5-5. And Dak is 6-4.
Conversation.
Top of the division. No, we're at the top of the division.
Conversation. And it's a quarterback award. Let's just be honest about this.
Well, that's not the way. No. Okay, damn, y'all strong. Y'all moving goalposts everywhere.
Christian McCaffrey should be in the conversation.
Yes.
His name not on here, and I agree with you.
No.
I agree with you. 100%. I agree with you.
Christian McCaffrey's had a better season.
100%. I agree.
So there you go.
But his name not on here.
There's a Hall of Fame running back sitting there right now. I'm telling you.
Good for him. That's his career. I'm talking about my career right here as an analyst and a broadcaster. Let's go to war. If you could just right now put yourself in one position or the other in terms of what their impact is on the game, their season this year, and what it means to your team, which one would you pick? Dak Prescott or Christian McCaffrey?
Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey.
You're crazy.
Dak Prescott
is a quarterback leading this.
Christian McCaffrey going to be watching Dak Prescott in the playoffs.
Thank you. Part one.
Maybe.
Part two, Dak is doing it at the most difficult position and leading the league.
The thing is that you got to look at Christian really has no help. That's what it comes down to. Forget you. Hey,
let me ask you this.
Hold up. It's not his fault he's on a 5-5 team.
You're right. No help, right?
No help.
He got no help.
So when he gets that ball, do the O-linemen just fall on the ground and say, make everybody miss?
Yeah.
Or are they blocking? He got help.
Yeah.
He got help. They blocking.
Oh, he got the same help as
He got the same as Z got?
No,
we ain't going there.
He has help. He has help.
Come on,
because when he played Tampa Bay and they wasn't blocking, how many yards did he have? And then that next week they decided to block. How many yards did he have?
Give me Dalvin Cook if you're going to start talking running back in the conversation as well. But guess what? Dak Prescott is third in it. Let me give you some numbers because everybody going to come up here with conjecture.
That's it.
Here's one number that y'all can't be real about this.
Okay.
If Aaron Rodgers had the same numbers as Dak Prescott, he would be in the MVP conversation even higher.
He'd be at the top.
He'd be at the top. Thank you, TJ. You know why?
You know why?
Why?
Huh? Because Aaron Rodgers, if he had those numbers, he'd probably. What is Aaron Rodgers right now? 8-1?
2.
8-2.
Losses.
Yeah, he'd be 8-2.
Yeah.
He's 8-2 with less numbers than Dak.
Yeah.
He'd probably be 10-0 with Dak's numbers.
Oh, no, but let me say this.
The Dallas Cowboys are 6-4 and haven't beaten anybody.
But hold on.
Your talent.
But in their division, they have a bigger lead than.
Okay, give him the MVP of the NFC East. We talking about football.
Can I finish with my numbers? So we all agree, if Aaron Rodgers had Dak numbers, we all know what will be happening right now. Aaron Rodgers MVP. And let me tell you what Aaron Rodgers' numbers are. Only 2 games this year over 400 yards. And that inserted him, 3 weeks ago into the conversation? To the front runner. Right. But then when Dak has 3 of those, not 2, 3, and another one at 397, we all somehow have a problem. Historically, only 3 people have ever done 4 games of 400 yards.
I don't have a problem.
And 2 of them won the MVP.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. But he said one thing that I forgot. Christian McCaffrey.
He should be in the conversation.
Why you wake this running back up?
Come on,
don't stop this running back up.
Nobody said Christian
you know
McCaffrey should not be in the conversation.
That's it.
Historically, we all know this.
Okay.
If you win an MVP, your team has to have success. You're not winning the MVP and your team is awful.
Okay, but just Christian McCaffrey's having a better season than Dak.
No, it's comparable. It's not better. It's comparable.
He's on pace for an NFL record from yards from scrimmage.
I'm going to say it one more
time. On a bad team
TJ.
with a bad
When
young
you have
quarterback.
a quarterback that's not getting the ball to the receivers, you're going to throw it to your tight ends in your back.
I'm going to say it one more time, Whitlock. What Dak is doing, only 3 people in history have done.
What?
When he gets
lead
this
the team to 6-4?
Hold on. That ain't a finished record right there. Don't cut the movie off right there. And 2 of them won the MVP. So how are you going to now displace this to a different place and say, well, Dak is
I'm going to tell you why.
well.
I'm going to tell you why.
That's the MVP number.
Because we're seeing things we've never seen from Lamar Jackson. We're seeing
he's the winner.
Yeah, I know. But again, when you start talking about the conversation, I want to see guys that are doing things. I think Russell Wilson's having an incredible season. And I think Christian McCaffrey's having an incredible season. So I'm looking at 3 people that are like, when I turn on the TV on Sunday, like, damn, this is rare. This is unique. I haven't seen this. And then I look at Dak and go, yeah, he's beating up on baby seals. Good for him. Now he's going to play the Patriots, and we can put him to the test. Because I saw him against the Vikings, and I saw him lose that game.
You don't walk right into it.
He lost it.
He did his part. He did his part.
Can I say this to you, Jason Whitlock?
What?
You just walked right into it. if you want to talk about uniqueness in terms of numbers, no one's mentioned the guy who's having the best season by the numbers. On pace for 150 catches and like 1,900 yards. Why y'all not mentioning Michael Thomas? You know why? Because ain't nobody trying to say something that ain't gonna happen. Michael Thomas is not winning MVP. Christian McCaffrey's not winning MVP. Dalvin Cook's not winning MVP.
Dak
but Dak has a chance.
Thank God.
Hey, against that Vikings quarterback.
Darnell,
sir.
are the Cowboys Patriots in this weekend Super 6?
Yes, sir, it is. But first off, congrats to the 14 winners of yesterday's Thursday night football contest. And before the games kick off on Sunday, download the Fox Sports Super 6 app and play for free for a chance to win Terry Bradshaw's $250,000. Whitlock Marcellus is when I fan some money. Who you got in Cowboys Patriots and what's the score?
I got the Patriots winning.
I
got the Patriots winning by 5.
5? Okay, I got 31-27 Patriots. So yeah, Patriots by 4.
Joined now by Vikings linebacker Eric Kendricks of the Kendricks brothers.
Got that corduroy on. That boy clean.
Brother Michael plays linebacker for the Seahawks. So let's the Watts brothers, the Bosa brothers, or the Kendricks brothers. Who are the brothers of defense?
Man, I got to give me and my brother, man. We've been through a lot, man. I'll take us, you know. A little bit darker than everybody else, but.
Oh, man. The brothers are brothers, huh? The brothers
That's my brother, man. I love him. Shout out to Michael.
Oh, okay.
Your dad played football at UCLA, played in the Canadian League for a while. Obviously, your brother plays for the Seahawks, a little older than you. Who's the biggest influence on you in terms of your football career?
That's hard to say. You know, obviously I knew growing up, my dad played football, and obviously my brother Michael is a huge influence on my game. But I got to show love to my brother Chad, you know, and brother Terrence, who would take us out there and do like little passing tournaments, you know what I mean? Take us to the front yard and just, you know, walk us through the running back steps, counter footwork, and just the little things like that. You know, I feel like when you get that from your older brothers, you know, all 3 of my older brothers, you know, they've shown me love.
Now, in that environment, is it from your father, from the climate, is it hands-on pressure or is it more hands-off, just self-interest?
You know, growing up, I had a lot of pressure a little bit. You know, my dad obviously played, and he had an expectation of, you know, what a football player, you know, toughness and things like that. And I feel like early, you know, I maybe not have displayed that. You know, obviously, you know, this game is a physical game. You know, you gotta hurt sometimes. So once I got used to that, and I really developed that love for the game myself, you know, I feel like that's when I started really going to the next level.
You protected Pops right there. You said a lot of pressure, a little bit. That means
it was a good thing. You know, I feel like it definitely put the heat on me. You know, you either get with it or you get lost.
Speaking of heat, Kirk Cousins' early season was taking a lot of heat. Then he goes on his weekly radio show, Under Center with Kirk Cousins, and apologized to his receiver, Thielen. That's for public consumption, not necessarily privately, but how did that land in the locker room?
I mean, like, I really didn't even know too much about it, honestly. I mean, I know what kind of guy Kirk is. I know what he brings to the table. I know what his whole mindset is. That stuff is just, I feel like, just the media kind of takes it over and blows it up a little bit. I really just probably thinks he was probably trying to get to the next question. So, I mean.
It may be coincidence, maybe not, but he's playing better since that moment.
He's balling.
Yeah, so is he playing better because of the criticism?
He's playing good because he's a good player, man. You know, things people say a lot about him. You know, he's in a tough position. Quarterback is always, you know, most scrutinized. But yeah, he's handling it well. I feel, you know, we got that comeback from behind victory against the Broncos, led by him. He was locked in the whole time, ready to go. So, you know, I was excited. I was juiced about that one.
From the media perception, there's beef in Minnesota. But I would imagine for you guys in the locker room, was there any people like, no, we're rallying around Kirk Cousins is really what's going on?
Man, our locker room is something special, man. I love those guys. We're a real tight-knit group. Anything happens, you know, we talk amongst each other, you know, keep everything in bounds. I feel like it's the key to our success in a sense. And, you know, I haven't heard of anybody in the NFL who has better locker room than us. You know, just that might be biased, but you know, I feel like we got good
to me,
guys.
it may have been borne out with the comeback against Denver because y'all seemingly never panicked despite the big deficit.
No, you know, I feel like just in my 5 years in this team, our defense has been through a lot. Offense has been through a lot. Team develops in those 5 years, but we've been through this so much situational football and so many tough losses and tough wins amongst those games. I feel like just nothing phases us at this point. We can get hit in the mouth and come back, and it's really nothing.
Now, you guys are game back in the division behind the Packers. Aaron Rodgers still there. Early in the season, MVP conversation, not so much of late, but it's been the Achilles heel for Minnesota of large, but not necessarily you. You have a winning record against him, but does he still give you guys some fits?
Me personally, I love playing against the best. You know what I mean? I feel like I consider myself among the best. So me and my defense, we love playing against the best players in the league. So Aaron Rodgers is obviously one of those guys. You match up against. I love the challenge. I think we all do. Played against him quite a few times now. It's always curious. What kind of Rodgers we're gonna get. You know what I mean? But we can guarantee one thing: he's gonna make some throws.
All right, you were watching us off camera have this whole MVP debate, Dak Prescott, blah, blah. I started talking about.
I heard someone say Dalvin.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to go.
Got to show love to my guys,
Honest to goodness, I do think he should be in. If we got Dak Prescott, we can certainly have Dalvin Cook in the conversation.
Man, that dude is just, he's a beast, man. He has the mindset. Yeah. He has, he obviously physically can do it. He's been through adversity early in his career. I mean, I don't think nothing can stop him in this world. And honestly, it's just cool to see him play from the defensive side of the ball. When we're off the field and we see him make those big extra. After he gets hit, make those tough yards. It's cool.
Now, before you had your franchise quarterback in Kirk Cousins, you guys were an NFC championship level team. So that means with a franchise quarterback, look at your face, y'all should be better. So Super Bowl or bust this year. What's up?
Man, honestly, I feel like all of our goals, obviously align. We're all swimming the same way in the water, and it's definitely a goal of mine since I've been here. That's pretty much all I work for, honestly. So I'm not gonna even say it. It's already understood. That's all we work for. So.
Grab an oar, roll the boat like PJ Fleck, man. It's happening in Minnesota this year.
It's going down.
Going down.
There it is.
Thank you, Eric. Great job. Eric Kendricks is back with us. We're joined now by Fox NFL analyst LeVar Arrington. Time now for Darnell's question of the day. All right, take it away, homeboy.
Yes, sir. Let's move to Antonio Brown, who's been back in the news this week after apologizing to the Patriots for all the drama around his exit from the team. Now conflicting reports are flying around about whether or not the Patriots are interested in re-signing him. But one thing is for sure, earlier this week, Bill Belichick was sick of answering questions about AB. Check this out.
Yeah, we have to talk to Robert about that. I mean, every week you guys ask me about a player who's not on our team, and so every week it's going to be the same answer.
All right, guys. Do you believe the Patriots are interested in AB or not?
I think Bill Belichick's comments say it all. You have to talk to Robert Kraft about that. When does Bill Belichick ever say that? So that's a call, decision made by Robert Kraft. I think Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and most of the guys on that roster have a great interest in AB. The owner doesn't. And that's why Bill Belichick, you got to talk to Robert Kraft about AB. That's a decision out of my hands.
I don't think they're interested in AB. They already know what AB is and what AB was as a Patriot. So there's no interest.
The guy that scored a touchdown in his first game?
Yeah, and also the guy who blew up the spot and called out the owner. Yeah, I think which one trumps what? 2 cases of distrust here, and I think AB in his circumstances are guilty of both. The Patriots are looking at it like, one, we can't trust you, AB, because look how you act. When something goes awry and then all of a sudden you get cut, instead of sitting there, as all the old timers told us, don't burn no bridges. He burned the bridge. 2, you can't trust Drew Rosenhaus because Drew Rosenhaus knew that AB had a case coming down the pipeline, legality, and because of a confidentiality agreement, couldn't disclose it. So now, if you're the Patriots saying, let's do business again, who knows what you've signed already going forward that may come and land on our lap once again. Those 2 cases of distrust, you're guilty as charged and convicted.
There's a football team that they keep everything in-house, and you don't hear nothing from the Patriots. And when you see Bill Belichick right there saying, basically talk to the owner, I think they have no interest. they'd probably love to have him for his talent-wise, but for all the antics, No.
Why couldn't Bill Belichick have just said, we talk about guys on our roster?
Because he said that the other weeks, and he's like, look, let me give you something bigger.
You say something different, a little bit different.
to entertain myself, but it's the same thing. It's over.
It's over.
No, it's not. Christian Fourier does local beat radio show on the team, talked to a couple guys internally and said that they're kicking the tires around. I think the response from Belichick is to maintain a consistency in how you're responding to it, but not kill it. He didn't kill it with his responses, in my opinion. He doesn't kill it. He could have killed it. That's one. Secondly, if you're looking at it, if you're gauging what the fans are going to say, what the reaction is going to be now that it's turning into more of a discussion, I think that they're figuring out now, is this the right decision to make? Can we withstand, as our organization and how we've built things, can we withstand bringing AB back? I think that's the biggest question now.
So Belichick is interested because he didn't burn a bridge. So that means interest instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to let that guy do whatever he wants to do, sink or swim, on his own merits, instead of saying this is a lost opportunity. And two, when do you ever kick the tires of something you already had? Like, you're not kicking the tires to gain knowledge.
I know you're married now, but you've never backtracked. I know you're married now.
Backtrack what?
You say you kick the tires on something you had in the past.
No, I already know what it is. What kicking tires? I don't get what are you trying to say? Where you going?
I make a living kicking tires now.
I'm agree with him on that one.
Huh? I delete no numbers.
You delete all numbers?
I do not. You always keep everything in play.
And that's what. Well, why? But do you always call up and follow up on it?
If I need to kick a tire.
But hold on, this whole concept,
flat.
kicking tires is being taken out of context. Kicking tires means I don't know, so let me get some understanding. He already knows.
I think they're continuing to evaluate if they can bring him in and it be seamless, because he is too good to just say, if we have a guy that wants to play for our team in particular, and you're seeing the dismay and discord of Tom Brady right now in this season, you still only have one loss. Your season is still, it's crazy to say, still salvageable in the sense that you could add somebody like AB and possibly win the Super Bowl.
Kick tires to start the car and go where? His
Win the
suspension.
Super Bowl.
We don't know when is AB playing. I'll wait.
They don't know.
Exactly. So why are you kicking the tires? So why are you kicking the tires?
Because you do all due diligence. That's what the Patriots make a living do. Are you kidding me?
There's no work to be done because the work is out of your hands.
But he hasn't been ruled ineligible to play.
As soon as he goes, he's going to be on the exemption list. As soon as he gets signed, so that's why no team has signed him. Seattle had the interest. Seattle had to back up. What is the suspension? They haven't even ruled on it yet.
You could almost imagine. If it was any other team, maybe other than the Patriots, maybe so, but the Patriots, they do things way different from everybody else. Because they don't need, even you said it, he talked about the owner, Robert Kraft. He's talked about the head man. And the head man said, hey, you know what?
Okay.
I got my own case.
I got my own case I got to deal with. I don't need this.
Come on, bro.
Look,
so if you leave again, he gonna say it again. Hey, Robert Kraft did this.
You got Instagram. You got Instagram? Yeah, let's say you do. Let's pretend you do.
He's like, what's this Instagram?
I don't know no Instagram. I'm too old for that.
You got some old girlfriend that you haven't talked to in a few years, but you hit like on one of her pictures. Tom Brady hit like on AB's little apology. A bunch of his teammates hit like on that picture.
People politicking.
You can't tell me Brady was liking back. And again, I agree with you, LeVar. I wasn't expecting. That's a hell of a point. He could have killed it. Hey, we had AB, we moved on.
But why kill it?
I say, why kill it?
Because they're kicking the tire.
Because you don't have to.
And he's tired of hearing it.
You don't have to kill it.
If he's tired of hearing it, kill it.
But Bill Belichick does it all the time. He'll talk around things. He don't have to say, look, it's like this, and I'm saying it's over. He don't know. You're
gonna kick the tires, sign AB, and then put him on the commissioner's exemption list, which means you're paying for him, but he's not playing. That car is not driving anywhere. But that's the scenario.
Well, how much time will that be? How much time is that?
That's the point.
If they have him,
don't know.
And he can practice, and he's cleared by playoff time. Why is that a bad decision?
But I just want to know, kicking tires doesn't mean you drive the car. It means you show an interest.
About it.
But
and that's what the question.
I'm gonna tell you
Do
why.
you believe the Patriots were interested in AB?
No.
And that's why you kick tires out.
I'm gonna tell you the reason why he's.
And likes don't mean a damn thing either.
The reason
so
why
don't be
he's
thinking I like you because I double tap.
The reason why
I'm moving up the screen fast.
He's handling it that way to keep
I'm
the
a fake.
confusion down. He's deflecting the confusion from getting into that locker room, which is a great move by the head coach.
Let me tell you something. When you said something about Robert Kraft, and you said that, you said to the owner, I guarantee, Mr. Kraft be like, no way. Ain't happening here.
That's right.
You might not say it out. You might not say it publicly. Nope.
Come on, man.
No,
He took a
think
shot
about
at
that. Think about that.
He took a shot at you.
He took a shot at you.
And this is what you have and own.
I don't
Columbia Lion, Robert Kraft.
I'm all right. I'm
Come on, man.
9-1.
Brothers like
I don't
that.
need you. I'm 9-1 It ain't like I'm 1-9.
They know they're not winning the Super Bowl right now. They know they're not winning the Super Bowl right now.
Said that 2 years ago. Said that last year too.
You watching Tom Brady don't believe it. He's frustrated and mad.
Tom Brady was bad in the playoffs last year by his standards, and they still won.
That's why he won AB.
Oh, did.
I just
He
can't
wanna have-
believe
he wanna
y'all
have
sitting
credit.
here as long as we've lived, particularly me and you, ED, and acting like there's some unforgivable sin. They said that about me and I would never.
Oh, yeah.
I would never.
Oh, yeah.
It's something I would never do, for sure.
It's some phone numbers in my
something I
phone
would do.
just
no doubt.
Just melting
He's
away.
an old man like me.
Come on, man.
ED's cut it out.
Don't you even don't try to put me over there with you. Don't try to throw me in the bucket with you.
Super single.
This is really.
Put you
Are you by
super single.
yourself?
No. I know his uncle, Jimmy Minor.
You knew my uncle.
I knew his uncle,
Good man,
Jimmy
right.
Minor, from Indianapolis. I know ED's history better than ED thinks I know.
Okay, stop. Stop right there. You're talking too much. You're talking too much. You're talking too much. Stop.
See, now you need to have a coach that can
You
take
kicking
the
time,
confusion.
ED? You kicking time.
I'm like Mr. Kraft. Hey, we're not going to revisit that.
You hit him with the Belichick.
He come from a family that kicks tires on a regular.
Oh, my blood. That's just blood. That ain't the
Don't
same.
believe. You don't believe him?
ED says stop
believe
right
you.
there.
Thank you.
My father owned the Masterpiece Lounge. Jimmy Minor hung up in the last Masterpiece Lounge. I know ED well. He kicks tires. Let's move to New England, where the Patriots host the Cowboys Sunday in America's Game of the Week on Fox. This game is huge for Dallas, who is fighting to hang on to control the NFC East. Yesterday, our buddy Colin Cowherd said Jason Garrett's job is on the line Sunday. And last night during Thursday Night Football, Terry Bradshaw actually backed him up.
Jason Garrett has been the head coach of the Cowboys for 10 years, and to my recollection, for the most part, a very average football coach, head coach. He needs to win this game. The Cowboys need this is a big game for them. I can't emphasize that enough.
All right, Terry Bradshaw, Colin Cowherd agree. I'm going to add a third person to that, me. Jason Garrett's job's on the line Sunday. Not that he'll get fired immediately, but if it doesn't go well here and they don't make it to the NFC Championship or Super Bowl, he's done.
He said a lot there because it started off saying his job on the line Sunday. It's not on the line Sunday. He's in a lame duck season. Guess what that means? We're going to measure you by your playoff success, whatever that may look like. We need to see you at least in the divisional round looking great, advancing to NFC Championship game, Super Bowl appearance, Super Bowl win. That's how Jason Garrett will be measured, not by this Sunday. This Sunday just releases and relieves some of the pressure around the situation currently. But there's so much work to be done for this season. So this Sunday is meaningless in totality because he's going to be graded on what he does in the postseason.
So everybody would say Bill Belichick is a better coach than Jason Garrett. That's number one. Now, whatever happens in this game, do they get outplayed or do they get outcoached?
Or both.
Now, if they get outcoached,
Right.
that's to be expected, right? Going into the game, everybody's saying Bill Belichick is a better coach. And then, Terry Bradshaw Jason Garrett is average. Whether you disagree or not, his record says otherwise. He's above average, slightly, but he's still above average. Now, is he coaching? Is his job on the line Sunday? No, I believe the Cowboys are going to win, number one. Number two, it's you go into it saying Belichick is a better coach. The Cowboys have the better team, in my opinion. They should win the game, so I think it just depends
No
on...
Sanu, and if they lose, you don't think in Jerry's mind, this is a dead man walking.
See, the Cowboys, they have this, we're the Cowboys, we should... The Cowboys, just for years, they've been good, but they haven't been good enough. And so the games they lose, does Jason Garrett play a part in some of that? Yeah, but they just haven't been good enough. They have a team, in my opinion, this Sunday that is better than New England, and I believe they'll show that.
I think his job is on the line this Sunday, and not this Sunday as you lose your job if you lose the game this Sunday, but it will be a game that is measured and judged moving forward as to what you're going to do with Jason Garrett. You have a Super Bowl roster, as you just mentioned. They're a better roster than this Patriots team. I, too, have them winning this game. I think it's a great game for them to get their running attack going because they're susceptible to the run in New England. They have a Super Bowl payroll, and that payroll is about to go up when they play Dak Prescott. So if you haven't shown that you have the ability to win the bigger games, you are now, whether it's personnel-driven or coaching-driven, it still has to rest on the leadership, and that's probably going to have to start with either the GM, which we know is probably going to be exempt.
That's Jerry.
He ain't firing himself.
That's or the son, right? And so now you got to figure out who's next. And as you move down that list, Jason Garrett is the name that pops up.
You know what's crazy? For them to be America's team, and look, I only had a cup of coffee 1 year there, but the attention you get as a Dallas Cowboy is second to none. And you play, and you know about the Pittsburgh Steelers situation, and I'm not talking to you, Cincinnati. This is another NFL level in terms of exposure. Being real. And everyone gets it wrong about the Cowboys. Amazing. Love me some Terry Bradshaw. But you can't say Jason Garrett's an average coach, because he's not slightly average, above average. He's 8th best in wins since he's been a coach. That's top 10. Is that just average? That's not. Let's talk about Dak Prescott, who was a 4th rounder, who took over from a franchise quarterback, and in his first year went 13-3. And in that transition, they're starting to build assets around him, and they're finally matured. Now let's see it. And then let's talk about an owner who everyone is talking bad about, it seems like, who has 3 Super Bowl rings. Maybe he doesn't act like he has 3 Super Bowl rings, but it's an accomplished Hall of Fame owner. But when we talk about the Dallas Cowboys, lazily, we'll all just sit there and say, not good enough. They have the talent, as TJ pointed out. I think this is the year it matures. They're on pace better than they were last year. We'll see how it ends.
It all depends on how you see what Jason Garrett's working with. And so what Terry Bradshaw, Cowherd are saying is like, Jerry Jones believes, I provided you all the support in the world. I can't compare you to Marvin Lewis in Cincinnati or somebody down in Tampa Bay or somebody with one of these other organizations. Jerry Jones, I'm a Hall of Fame owner. I provided you a roster that should perform better than what you're giving me. And so based off to whom much is given, much is expected. And so I just don't think he can simply just be a look at, he's 8th in wins, and therefore Jerry probably feels like, no, I paid enough money that we should be in the top 3 in wins. And I'm not getting those results.
I hear that, and that's a great case. But when I push back and say I'm better than 75% of the coaches out there in terms of wins, also, let's measure my intangibles, which no one wants to talk about how he has stabilized this franchise. All the turnover the Dallas Cowboys has had over the years, a better win percentage than Bill Parcells. Like, people are not talking about more success.
It's all expectations, Marcellus.
But they just hit right now. Those expectations weren't there before, were they?
It all depends on, sometimes you pay for stability, sometimes you pay for excitement and the unexpected.
I'll argue against myself here is I go back to the Minnesota Viking game. And that's concerning to me because that entire game, you could not run the ball. You could not run the ball. And I don't care. Kellen Moore is the offensive coordinator, but I guarantee Jason Garrett was on that headset, run the ball. Guarantee, run the ball. And you ran the ball, you got stopped twice, and then you go on a 4th down play, you throw the ball to your running back? Like, you throw the ball to Amari Cooper in that situation. You throw the ball to Randall Cobb in that situation, or Michael Gallup, not your running back. And so, for me,
Jason Witten.
It's one of those things where it's, if that comes into play in New England and you make those same type of mistakes
that's coaching.
That's 100% coaching. So hopefully that doesn't happen again.
And the expectation is there for them to win the Super Bowl. The expectation is always there
For
to
who?
win the Super Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys. It is always there.
I don't know if it's to win the Super Bowl.
It is always.
And branded what?
No.
And marketing campaigns?
Not
The Dallas
field.
Cowboys. I'll tell you what's even more ridiculous than that. The
me hear it.
Redskins are always expected to win the
You're right. That is
to
more
win
ridiculous.
the Super Bowl.
Man, the
Right.
Redskins can't
So-
even win the division.
I know,
How
what
can
you
they
talking
win the
about?
Super Bowl?
But hope sells.
But
and
I'm
the
trying-
Dallas
I don't
Cowboys
think
have
they're-
enough.
You really think Jerry Jones ain't thinking Super Bowl every year?
He's thinking Super
No.
Bowl. Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, he is.
No.
I was there. They
No.
weren't thinking we were going to win the Super Bowl.
He might
They're
Let me tell you
realistic
that.
now. They're
That's-
real. Win the
I'm
Super
telling
Bowl?
Win? What?
No.
It's what drives
I'm
the
not
machine.
talking about this whole
This year,
It
week
drives-
one, we're going to win it.
It
Pep rally
drives the
talk.
machine.
The last 5
It
years,
drives the
No,
machine.
no.
starting with Tony Romo's last year all the way through, Jerry Jones has been about winning the Super Bowl, period.
With no
End of
defense
story.
and
But he
no
doesn't-
running game, he
He
was.
might say
and then he
it,
had
but he
DeMarco
doesn't
Murray
truly
and let it go.
believe that. He doesn't truly. When Tony Romo got hurt and Dak Prescott had to play, Jerry Jones probably sat in that office and said, "Oh, our season's over. Our season's over."
And then when they got to
start
13-3, trust me,
they didn't think they could win the Super Bowl. They thought, "Oh, we can do a little damage." I
Bingo.
don't-
And Whitlock, you onto it. But
they were the 1 seed.
You're mistaking how this is. You said that this is about expectations. This is about trajectory. And this is a tragic
That's
case
fair.
of trajectory.
That's
I
fair.
used to tell this to all the players out there. If you're going to ball out, you better keep balling out, but don't ball out first and come down that hill. Look what the Dallas Cowboys did with their trajectory that messed them up. And I give it to you.
Yeah.
When you go out there in the first year with a fourth rounder and win 13 games, you know where that ceiling just went? Some absurd place.
right.
Versus, let me give you a real case. This is one of my teammates. 10 sacks first year, 7-9-2. Cut. I told him when he got cut, if you would have went 2, 7, 9, 10, you'd be
deal.
paid. Same numbers. So the point is, we get caught up in our resetting of expectations off trajectory. If they're being realistic, this team is just now fully mature. You paid the line, you got your running game, you got your quarterback that you need to pay. Now let's
I don't
reset.
blame Jerry Jones if he's sitting there saying, you know, I caught New Orleans fresh off of them losing Drew Brees, and Sean Payton put a clown suit on my team.
By 2 points on the road?
It was a 12-10 game. We didn't score no damn points. Sean Payton, with Drew Brees standing on the sideline fresh off of injury, just put a clown suit on my fresh, fully invested team.
The same team that went undefeated.
The Minnesota Vikings, another good team.
Right.
I had a chance to put them away. Didn't do it. My coach. If I get to this New England game and he just told a story, it was this week, early this week. Man, I was at a ski resort and I could have hired Bill Belichick. If you think Jerry Jones is like, you know what? I done paid for a good running back. I paid for a good offensive line. I paid for good defensive linemen, linebackers. You know what? I'm going to go out here and buy me a new coach because I had a
Because he's
chance
the
to
one
get
holding
Bill
He
back.
tried
Belichick.
that.
Yeah.
Is Sean Payton there? He tried.
It comes
he
back
thought
to
that.
trajectory, like you said, though. He's basing his trajectory off of this roster, and he's basing it off of what his coach can do, and that's why he needs
This
to win
is
this
the year
game
they
on
can win the
Sunday.
Super Bowl.
Before we
This year.
go,
Thank you.
I'd like to address U.S. women's national soccer player Carli Lloyd, who continues to build her brand by saying she wants to launch an NFL kicking career at age 38. Lloyd appeared on the Rich Eisen Show Wednesday, and she once again expressed her desire to go where no woman has gone before. She said, "This isn't just a publicity stunt or something I'm having fun, just string the media along. I know that I can do it." And I respect the honesty of her statement. Lloyd's NFL lark isn't just a publicity ploy. It's a publicity stunt in addition to a feminist political statement that men and women are the exact same. The differences are just a state of mind, and Lloyd is determined to shake up our mind state. She goes on to say, I know I have the mental capacity in pressure situations. I know there would be loads of people that want to see me fail. That's no different than the entirety of my career." Now we've arrived at the dishonest part of Lloyd's statement. There are not loads of people who want to see her fail. There are loads of people who would like to see her legitimately earn the right to a tryout. Some of us are old-fashioned that way. We don't believe in handouts, not because we're stingy or greedy or evil. Some of us believe handouts erode the culture that made America great and made football America's greatest game. Some of us see Lloyd in the same light we see Colin Kaepernick, a spoiled, entitled athlete who wants the NFL and the world to change the rules for him. The NFL gave Kaepernick a handout on Saturday, an unprecedented tryout in front of 25 teams. He spit on it because he has no respect for the game and the people who came well before him. Those people created a platform where men can earn generational wealth playing a game. Cap thinks he's superior to the people who came before him. So does Lloyd. She has no respect for football or the people who play it, including little girls playing pee-wee and high school football. I have more respect for Tony Harris, the little made-for-TV black girl in the car commercial who was given a college football scholarship for political purposes. At least Harris has been standing on football sidelines since high school. Lloyd has no desire to pay any dues. She's using her popularity and status as an elite hero of the feminist movement to cut in line and get a tryout she hasn't earned. No one has ever before launched an NFL career at age 38. No one has ever launched an NFL career based off one edited highlight kick. No man could tape himself kicking a single field goal and draw the interest of a single NFL franchise. Carli Lloyd's NFL publicity stunt doesn't serve equality, it serves special interest. The very essence of football contradicts what Lloyd is doing. Football is about the imposition of will, the violent taking of territory and field position. There are no handouts. I don't want to see Lloyd or any woman fail at football. I want to see them earn their opportunity. Football doesn't owe women reparations. Title IX covered those debts. More Speak for Yourself after this. LeVar Arrington and TJ Houshmandzadeh are back. Let's return to the NFL and a couple of huge matchups this week. The Patriots host the Cowboys Sunday, and according to Fox Bet, New England is a 6.5-point favorite to take down Dallas. Meanwhile, Jimmy G and the 49ers are 3.5-point favorites over Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in Santa Clara. All right, guys, I want us to give a little gambling advice. Two hugest games of the weekend. Give me your two-team parlay, moneyline parlays. Who's winning?
Yes, moneyline parlays. I'm going with the 49ers and the Patriots. Got to hold it up right there. 49ers and Patriots. Let me tell you why. 49ers right here. Second best defense in the league. Oh, you know what's going to happen? The Packers and their inconsistent offense, not going to be good enough. So I go with the 49ers there. Patriots and their defense. They're stout against the pass. They're going to try and go in there because Dak is an MVP candidate. And Dak's going to try and lead the way against a team that has 19 interceptions. So they're going to put the onus on stopping Dak. And then it's going to go to Zeke, who's been a little inconsistent of late. So I say the Patriots.
You're betting on defense, bottom line.
Basically.
Both games.
Both times.
I'm going with the Niners and the Cowboys. San Francisco, that defensive line. All those first-round picks. And the Cowboys is simple. The Cleveland Browns exposed the Patriots that you can run the ball. The Baltimore Ravens really followed that up and went through with it with the game plan. This is going to be the week Ezekiel Elliott gets back on that horse and plays well.
Only way you're right, because what Baltimore exposed and what Jerry keeps talking about is that we're not using Dak in the running game. And so I don't think it'll be Zeke. Zeke may have a good game, but I think under your scenario, Dak needs to get at least 50, 60 yards on the ground.
If Dak comes out early, they run that zone read and just pulls it, gets 7 yards, gets down. Does it a few times in the first quarter, they'll be aware of it. They'll start to sit, and that cutback will be there.
Once you've seen Lamar Jackson do it and then Dak do it, you're like, I'm not scared.
Oh, but see, Lamar going to the crib, Dak, all we need is about 7 to 10.
Them thick legs, I'm good. I'm good.
Packers, Cowboys. Packers, Cowboys. A-Rod shows up in big games. I know we're talking about the Niners' defensive line and what they're able to do and all those amazing things that we've seen them do, but the Packers will cover.
Like the L.A. Chargers.
They will not only cover, but they're going to win this game.
We didn't say who's covering. We said who's winning.
They're going to cover. Well, we're talking betting. So there's the over-unders, all right? And in these games, you have overs. Green Bay will cover, and they will win, in my opinion. Now, looking at the Cowboys game, I do believe that this is a matchup nightmare for the Patriots. They have a big offensive front. They will be able to block and create some lanes. I do think that Zeke gets on pace and gets on track in this game. It's a big game. It'll be a feel-good story for Zeke. It'll be a feel-good story for this Cowboys team. go with the Cowboys.
There's a reason why I always go last, because I
Okay.
get that late breaking news.
Here we go.
Tom Brady just popped up on the injury report with an elbow injury. He's questionable.
Okay.
Packers, Cowboys.
Oh, really? You're a real gambler. You're a real gambler right here. What?
Look, I like Green Bay just because I like Aaron Rodgers far more than I like Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo's loose with the football. He'll have some turnovers. Packers will win that game. I'm flip-flopping.
Hey, that's just customary. Nothing wrong with Brady.
Because of the elbow?
He's
questionable? That's nothing.
Questionable. Elbow injury, cold and rainy, that no Mohamed Sanu. They're begging for Antonio Brown to come back. The Patriots don't even believe they can
And
win
I
this
didn't even
game.
bring up George Kittle with the Niners if he played this week.
Hold on. Tom Brady on the injury report is just like daily knowledge.
It's every
Like,
week.
he's 42. General
Friday?
soreness is going to put Tom Brady on there. What you talking about?
Questionable elbow.
When I hear questionable, I'm like, oh, you just you sneezed today or something like that. Like, you got a little baby cold. That's not real. Like, Tom Brady going to be fine. I think he's trying to throw him off.
An excuse.
Yeah, he's throwing him off.
And if that is the case, that should tell you why the Cowboys are going to win this game. The Patriots are coming. No Sanu. Brady's been frustrated all week. Now here he magically pops up on the injury report on Friday.
Funny elbow.
And they called him questionable.
They're susceptible to the run. I'm telling you, it's going to be cold. It's going to be Foxborough weather. It's going to be New England Patriot weather. But that offensive line, you watch, I'm telling you, it's going to be a Zeke game.
Hold on. Whoa. We got to stick with Tom Brady is questionable. Limited in practice. And listen.
He's 42.
I get it. But I'm going to tell you the other level to this. This is another reason why Jason Garrett's job's on the line, man. No Sanu, Brady limited. If they lose this damn game, Jason Garrett is a dead man walking. He may finish the season, but trust me, they're like, okay, this ain't the guy.
You definitely can't say that it's an elite status team if they lose, right?
Why? Who cares right now?
Because they're not on the trajectory of being an elite status team.
But it's conversation.
The record says otherwise.
Exactly, conversation.
Not really.
Right,
not
they're
elite.
6-5 after this weekend.
Their record doesn't say elite.
No, hold on.
It doesn't even say they're
Hold
on
on,
the
but
record.
the record says better than last year, and last year they were good to
It says
great.
top
Better
in your
than last
division.
year. They finished out
better
pretty
win your
good.
division.
but-
Right.
You're top in your division?
Come on now.
You know,
They're
you sound
one
just
game
like a
ahead.
Bengal.
No.
You sound
No,
like a
you're
Bengal.
just trying to get
Never
to the
had
playoffs.
aspirations above anything.
No.
Get to the playoffs.
Win the division.
That doesn't make them elite.
Get
though.
in. Go to
No,
the
not
dance.
elite, but if you're leading your division,
Yeah.
But you got an
everybody
elite
picks
roster.
Eagles to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
to the Super Bowl this year.
Tom Brady's
Why
on
not?
the injury report, and y'all think it's nothing. Uncle Jimmy will be back on Monday. All right, let's talk some Tom Brady. He was limited in practice today and officially listed as questionable with a right elbow injury. It's the first time all year he's been on the injury report, listed as questionable. Marcellus, what's your level of concern here?
Oh, -2. I mean, he's 42 with a questionable status, which basically gives him cover to take him out of practice, limit his reps, things of that nature. This is going to be, my level of concern is going to be on the field for the Dallas Cowboys. If you talk about what's going to happen, the Patriots do not let you have a great passing game. So you can run the ball against them, but Ezekiel Elliott in his last 2 games, 92 yards. So they have to stabilize their running game if they're going to have success, because you're not going to be able to throw against them.
I'm going to tell you this. If I'm in Dallas and I'm Jason Garrett, I'm a little bit excited, but I'm a little bit scared. I'm excited, like, oh, we ain't going to face Tom Brady, potentially, or we'll face a limited Tom Brady. I'm scared. The Patriots have a number 2 quarterback, Jarrett Stidham, that they like. If Jarrett Stidham comes off that bench at any time or starts the game and beats the Dallas Cowboys, Jason Garrett may not be allowed back on the team plane on the flight back to Dallas.
Right.
They may swoop through Boca Raton, Florida, and swoop up Lane Kiffin and fly him back with him, or Kellen Moore, or Nick Saban, or Dabo Swinney, or maybe fly to Los Angeles to pick me. I can coach the Cowboys better than Jason Garrett.
Man, that's an ugly scenario if they
I would
don't
be
win.
concerned if I were Jason Garrett. All right, we only got a little bit of time left. We got to get to our approval rating. Al Riveron, I got him at a complete dumpster fire, 26, 5-job performance, 6 all-time greatest, at least we know who he is, 10 in character, 5 in authenticity, dumpster fire.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of calls, and obviously we only highlight the negative ones, the bad ones, but I still got them down there low. Scout team, what's America?
Internet agrees with me, 85% dumpster fire.
Negative.
It's been a great week.